Now, it's 12:27.
We present the news quiz, and here's the chairman, Barry Took.
Thank you. Hello and welcome to a brand new series of the News Quiz. We set the style with this cutting received from Mrs. J. Perry of Birmingham that appeared in the Sunday Express.
Lancia Cars. We have invented a braking system that makes us unstoppable.
Well, in the week that's brought you Mrs. Thatcher embracing robots in Japan, believed to be the nearest place you'll find a factory worker willing to shake her hand. Thank you, Liberals everywhere. We bring you from the Sunday Times, Russell Davies, the writer and journalist, Hunter Davies, Sue Cook of Nationwide, and the editor of Punch, Alan Coren. And we open round one with an advert from the Classical Music Journal, supplied by Peter Gould of Wakefield.
City of Birmingham Symphony Orchestra. Applications are invited for the position of principal percussion. The successful candidate will normally sit at number 3 in the first violins.
The further north you go. Russell Davies, we open the proceedings with you. Why might a stock clearing sale make shopping a little less wonderful?
The only shop I can think of that's been in the news is the wonderful Woolies. Would this be the wonderful Woolies? Yes, in question. Now, I don't know what the story is, but I think probably the Americans own it, don't they? Because it used to be the was it the original 5 and 10 cent store? Then it became the 5 and 10 pence store, and now it's the £5.10 store.
It used to be the threepence and sixpence.
Yes.
Older listeners, I'm sure, will remember the threepence and sixpence, the threepenny and sixpenny shop.
You can still get a nice red felt Christmas stocking in Woolworths, so it's worth keeping
it
on.
With Tim Brooke Taylor in it.
That's right. So I hope somebody buys it, but it's up for grabs. That's the thing.
Quite true, you're absolutely right. The American Woolworth Company is attempting to sell its majority shareholding in the British chain of Woolies. Or at least they were, but they couldn't find an assistant to take the money. Following ever-diminishing profits, Woolworth's famous slogan, "Nothing over sixpence," now relates to its share price. Much to the upset of the British owners, they're looking for an organisation that needs huge premises in every town's high street. A job centre. Hunter Davies.
Sir.
Your question now.
Yes.
Who sought a better place to be in the running for a better place? Who sought a better place?
Oh, yes, it's the Cameroons, isn't it?
Yes.
Cameron Sharp, who is running out in... Doesn't he look like that bloke in Chariots of Fire? Don't you think so? Cameron Sharp. He's got a lovely square face and that beautiful haircut. He's been out in Australia where he hasn't liked the digs. That's right. And he's complained.
He's been in Brizzy.
Brizzy, that's right, yes. 5 points.
5 points to me. The question referred to Scottish champion sprinter Cameron Sharp, who walked out of the Commonwealth Games village in Brisbane after complaining of the totally inadequate sleeping and toilet facilities. I don't know why I find that funny, but I do. He had a window, didn't he? The latest news is that one of the coaches has been accused of cheating for running alongside his sprinter shouting, "The bathroom's free!" You see what you've missed all through the summer, Alan. Now, a pause now to enjoy this announcement from the Buckinghamshire Free Press, kindly sent to us by John Ford of Henley-on-Thames.
Here's a great opportunity to travel with other Bucks Free Press readers on a fantastic value-for-money 9-day holiday to the beautiful Salzkammergut, the region where the Sound of Music was filmed for only £99.
I thought it looked like that as well. However, Sue Cook, dear, are you all right?
Yes, thank you, so far.
Nice. How have insurance men lost the Midas touch?
This is Goldfinger, isn't it?
It is Goldfinger.
Yes, I keep wanting to call him Oliver Postgate. I'm not quite sure why, but his name's Ian Postgate.
That's right.
And he lives next door to George Harrison, you know. In
Good heavens.
a neat little mansion with a mere 120-acre garden. And he's accused of embezzling large amounts of money, anything from 15 million up to 32 million, depending which paper you read, really. Yeah. He earns quite a lot of money. He's very rich, so it could be. And his wife did say that everybody in the city sails very close to the wind, but he denies it, so we'll see.
Beautifully earned 2 points. It is about the suspension by Lloyds of the £300,000 a year underwriter Ian Postgate, dubbed by the press Goldfinger, and known in the trade as AU. Doubtless Mr. Postgate's insurance, his third party, fired and bereft. Now then, Alan Coren, here's a musical clue for you.
My sweet Lord, my Lord, my Lord, I really want to see you, really want to be with you, really want to see you, Lord, but it takes so long, my Lord.
Alan, 3 points if you can answer this without the question.
Was the line really want to steal? It's
point.
about the Australians in the crates.
No, it isn't. That comes later.
I'll do that one now. But I'd like to bank 3 points.
I've given the game away. No, I'll ask
It's about Rudolf Hess, who has been feeling better this week. We're all very happy about that. Get well soon, Rudolf.
Yes, that's right.
It's a Rudolf Hess question.
No.
Right, now I can't guess the question.
Right, I'll ask you the question then. Who wasn't shown when the shots were shot?
Oh, it's that lord.
Yes.
There is a man called John Miller, who is larger than I am, but no mind, I shall press on, who found a dwarf and stuck a ginger moustache on him and put him on the end of a jetty in the middle of the Caribbean. And he said, I have found Lord Lucan. He then got into a flak jacket and ITN shot at him for some time. And then he said, you see, it's proof. Here are these bullets. And the Lord Lucan that they'd gone jumped into the sea and swam away, and is doubtless going to reappear as Rudolf Hess or Joseph Mengele or that old Bormann or whoever it is in some other newspaper farrago. But it's about the hunt for the dwarf lord. We now know him to be 4 feet tall, in a wig.
Brilliantly answered. Absolutely wonderful, and it's right in every particular. The only thing you did leave out was the fact that having discovered Lord Lucan, the chap now reckons that he can discover Kitty McShane. However... And so at the end of the first round, the scores are 2 to everybody. We move into round 2. And we start round 2 with a thank you to Terry and Rosalind Millwood of Lincoln, who sent us this little gem from the Lincolnshire Echo.
Prayers for the task force were said by Padre Frank Burton, and a minute's silence observed for those who had died at a social evening at Sleaford on Saturday.
I blame the wine. Russell Davies, how has the emergence of coal put the Smith out of business?
Coal
Coal.
and Smith.
Smith.
I was just thinking about the Lincolnshire Echo. I had a picture of them all sort of swanning around the office going, Lincolnshire Echo, how do you do? Hello. It must be Cyril Smith.
No, it mustn't.
Ah.
It's the German Smith.
The German Smith?
Try Schmidt.
Schmidt. Helmut. Ah, he's turned his helmet upside down and he's keeping coal in it.
That will do because it's terribly warm in the studio. Let's move on. It was all about the downfall of Chancellor Helmut Schmidt's Free Democratic government in Bonn following the resignation of 4 of his ministers. Successor-elect seems to be Dr. Helmut Kohl, the opposition Christian Democrat leader, who, acting under orders, tabled a motion of no confidence to guarantee that the Schmidt will really hit the fan. Hunter Davies, a question for you. Who announced that Labour is right for women?
Sue Cook. Who's been pregnant this week? He paused. Is it Prince Charles.
It is Prince Charles.
He's been absolutely furious that Prince Andrew's been doing all these really dangerous things like going to the Falkland Islands and drinking milk. So he thought, what can I do that'll really be scaring and really be treading on a knife edge or walking over the brink? He thought, I know, and I'll go to Woman magazine.
That's right.
And I'll be interviewed. And he said a woman's place is in the home, along with 25 gardening staff, 50 waiters, 33 butlers.
Very good. Here's a cutting from a local free rag of East Sussex, and it was sent in by K.F. Banner of Crowborough.
By the time the fire brigade arrived, the roof was ablaze. Said a spokesman, it must have started some time before.
They think these firemen, they do. Anyway, Sue Cook, your question again. Lend an ear to this charming melody.
Flashbang, what a picture, what a photograph. Poor old bloke, blimey, what a joke. And blown off in a cloud of smoke, clap hands, stamp your feet, banging on the big bass drum. What a picture, run to the up, stick it in your pants, hey, up.
Now, Sue, what was the snap answer to royal rumours?
Well, this refers to the photographs all over the papers this week by Norman Parkinson of Anne and Mark.
Right.
And it's supposed to show that they're really deeply in love and they're not going to split up after all.
That's quite
and
right.
It's awfully sad. They're going to be split up for 5 whole weeks while he goes to Australia.
You're absolutely right. This has given rise to further speculation that Mark has since been trilling, "If I had a talking picture of you, it will probably say, nap off." Alan, your question is this. How did a man of the cloth transcend beyond the veil?
I think this is a very delicate and sensitive question. It's about that great and good man, or that great and public man, Mervyn Stockwood.
Right.
Who talks to his mum and dad, even though they snuffed it in the Old Lang Syne. I mean, one can say it safely, because he's an old man. They must have been old when the Stockwood clogs were handed in. And he now pops along regularly and bangs on the table, and they communicate into the ether. And ectoplasm is drawn from one or the other, and they have these Methodist chats. No, Soper's a Methodist, isn't it? They have these Unitarian chats.
Church of England.
Jewish chats. I don't know what denomination Stockwood is, but he talks to his mum and dad, and they have been buried long since.
He does, more coherently than you've talked to us. But I won't... I will draw a veil over that owl. This all refers to Dr. Mervyn Stockwood, the former Bishop of Southwark, who claims that he has spoken with the dead every time he addresses the House of Lords. Through a medium, he claims to have received messages from his late parents. You're absolutely right. His late parents gave him information that he could have not learnt by any other means, including telecom. And that's the end of round 2, and the scores are still everybody level. Isn't it wonderful? I get in a terrible row, ladies and gentlemen, on this programme because I don't like anybody to lose. However, we launch round 3 with a thank you to Roger McGee of Huddersfield and Frank Pedley of Keighley, who both spotted this small lad in the Yorkshire Post.
Successful businessman, widower, aged 44, usual trappings, non-smoker with varied interests, seeks affectionate, understanding female to shave the enjoyable things of life.
We will move on to Russell Davies and your question. Russell, what princely possessions underwent a hammering to come under the hammer?
I think it must be the Falklands auction.
That's exactly what it is. And where did it take place?
I
Try the RAC Club.
Really? Did it? I didn't know. I thought it probably would take place in Portsmouth or somewhere. But anyway, they flogged his old socks and stuff like that from the Falklands.
Well, it was his gloves, actually. It was described as white kid and partly worn.
But not very.
Well, describes him rather well, actually.
Yeah. Next week, the news quiz comes from the Tower of London. Now, Hunter Davies, here for you comes a delightful ditty.
I'm putting all my eggs in one
basket. I'm betting everything I've got on you. I'm giving all my love to one baby. Heaven help me if my baby don't come through.
Hunter, what has that got to do with the new laying of the law?
Was it in the Daily Express?
Oh.
Was it in the Sun? Eggs.
Wrongly described.
There was something boring in the Daily Telegraph these week.
They're boring eggs. Anybody know? Oh, yes, Russell knows.
I know, yes.
It's to do with what is a free-range egg and what isn't a free-range egg.
Isn't it?
What?
You can only be a free-range...
Pardon? Come outside and say that,
You
young
can only
man.
be a free-range egg rearer in Hong Kong for a start.
I'm not going to ask you
Can I
any more
come back on
bloody
that one?
question. Your man's a fool.
A judge this week decided somewhere what a definition
Yes.
of a free-laid egg, a free-range egg.
Yes. You have to have access to actual grazing rights of proper lawn, like the centre court at Wimbledon and so on. Otherwise, you're not a free-range hen.
Yes.
It confused one hen so much that it changed sex altogether after 2 years of laying eggs. It sprouted a comb and became a cock. I think it was that way around.
The unsettling thing.
Are we on thin ice here? Well, my hearing is not what it was.
The really unsettling thing was it was all to do with their dietary habits, and they had to eat things that they found. Which reminds us that eggs are recycled worms if they're free range. I'd much rather they stuffed them full of chemicals. But they had to be able to go out and eat worms and insects and rubbish like that.
Give him
Then-
2 points.
then
That's
get
what
milk,
they're all
not
nice.
him.
Oh, dear. 2 points all. What do you think, folk?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. 2 points for everybody. Well done. And now here's some property news from the Sevenoaks Chronicle, sent in by L.M. Browning.
The Royal Oak Hotel in Sevenoaks Upper High Street is up for sale. The hotel has 16 bedrooms, 8 with bathrooms, and the rest with showers, dining room, kitchen, cellar, residential flat, and parking for 18 cars.
Sue Cook, back to you. Who are all at sea over equality in the drink? All at sea, equality in the drink.
Well, this can't be Prince Charles, because we've done that about women's place being in the home and things. Equality in the drink. Something to do with swimming, sea, being a sailor?
Well, it's to do with sea and sailors, yeah.
Women don't go to sea much, do they?
Anybody knows? Difficult question. Nobody knows this one. I won't give anybody any marks. No, I will. I'll give
That's
Sue
fair.
Cook
That's
one.
very fair.
According to the National Union of Seamen, ship owners must take a hard line with their officers who refuse to accept recreation facilities shared with ordinary seamen. 2 BP ships who plan to integrate all the crew's messes have had to drop the idea following adamant objections from the officers. Next thing you know, they'll all want a parrot on their shoulder. However, Alan Coren, your proper question now. Tell me why the younger generation stand more chance of starting with egg on their faces.
Yes. Having proved impossible to educate children, the nearest thing you can do is feed them. And everybody in Warwickshire is going to have a new start in life with a sausage and an egg. And because someone has determined as a result of a survey, probably the Egg and Sausage Board, if I know them, and these free-range children are going to be stuffed with food and sent out into the world on a full stomach, because you can learn better that way.
Quite right.
It's like how many sausages dig 3.5 eggs in a week and a half. They'll be doing all that stuff. But I think it's only Warwickshire. I don't think it will spread.
At the end of round 3, the scores are Hunter Davies 6, Sue Cook 7, Russell Davies and Alan Coren tying in the lead with 8. And so we plunge into round 4 with this cutting from the Sunday Telegraph sent to us by David Wilmot, Mrs. P. Hemmings and Mrs. J.M. Walther. It's about the rights of the Englishman's mistress.
Any married man who plays around today may sooner or later find himself pressed out of his first marriage and into remarriage. Mistresses don't just take things lying down anymore.
Don't tell us the story of your life here. We know what it was like here in 1944. Anyway, Russell Davies, it's your question again. And to go with it, a bar or two of this.
Toodaloo-ma-loo-ma, toodaloo-ma-loo-ma, toodle-I-I. And the umbrellas to men today. Bring your parasol, it may be small, it may be big. He repairs them all with what you call a thingamajig.
Russell, who doesn't want to see the point of all that?
The point of all that? Umbrellas? The point of an umbrella. The point of an umbrella can be sharpened. Can be sharpened.
Yes.
Now, who was it?
Ah.
Yes. It was an MP.
It was an MP.
Don't know. A Conservative MP, anyway. Didn't want to be punctured.
No. You've gone wrong. I'll give you 1 point. But Alan Coren knows it all.
Well, not all. I mean,
Some.
a Labour MP...
Yes.
...was attacked on the train and attributed it to it being an umbrella rather than his being a Labour MP. He's a Labour MP for South Yorkshire.
Oh.
But his name, like so many Labour MPs for South Yorkshire, escapes me. But he wants to have the same laws that the Japanese government, such as it is, has just passed, saying no umbrellas.
That's the stupidest answer you've ever given. No. Sue Cook, tell us the real answer. And you'll get 1 point, Alan. I will be fair.
For 3 points, the answer is Tom Tawney.
Absolutely correct. 3 points. Well done.
Goody.
I think we can press on. And we come to you, Hunter Davies. Tell me why Heathrow had absolutely no hope on paper.
This must be Bob Hope. And he had lost his passport at Heathrow Airport.
Absolutely right. Now, our thanks go to Tom Biller of Cumbria, who sent us this confusing item from the Northwestern Evening Mail.
A Windermere woman's pet Yorkshire Terrier was killed today by a wild monk which leapt through the window and attacked it.
In the paper's second edition, it turned out to be a mink that had been killed by a wild monk. Now then, Sue Cook, another question for you. When it comes to counting letters, why didn't Bills match up to Williams?
Well, Shirley Williams has been made president of the SDP.
That's right.
Could that be anything to do with it? I mean, is that 2 points worth of answer?
Something to do with it, and it is the answer.
Oh, good.
Finally, we turn to Alan Coren, of whom we ask, how did a handout on the ground stop a share out in the sky?
If you show an Australian a crate of anything, he will crawl into it. In this case, it is that wonderful phrase, it's madness to send a boy up in a crate like that. And that's exactly what they did. 9 Australians, I think it was 9 Australians, had this wonderful scheme that they decided in the basement of Foster's one day to actually get themselves air freighted out of Australia at the same time that money was being air freighted. And once they were in the cargo hold of the aeroplanes, they would get out, open the crates that had the money in, take the money out of the crates and go back to their own crates with the money. Being Australians, they were unable to find anything in the dark. This noise of drunks banging into various crates, animals getting out and all the rest, and they were apprehended. A hand was seen. One of them stuck a hand out for a second glass, no doubt. Pounced on by customs drunks.
Oh, I do enjoy Alan Coren. He is a hoot. Well, we close the programme in a traditional style by asking each of our contestants to amuse us with what's amused them in the papers this week, a forlorn hoot. But Russell Davies, have a stab at it.
Well, I've been following this occasional series in the Times Diary where readers write in and report strange dishes that they've seen advertised on the English bits of menus in European restaurants. And my top 3 from this week, in reverse order naturally, are from North Yemen, fish roti and spaghetti bolo grease. From Spain, fillets of evil. And top of the bill, from Athens, that mouth-watering delicacy, bowels in spit.
Hunter Davies, what have you got?
Well, mine's overheard from a television program, an ITV program, and it was some doctor chuntering on, and she said, when you talk about sterilization and talk about hospital, you scare the pants off people.
Russell Davies 3, Hunter Davies 0. Sue Cook.
In the Telegraph this week, a city gent reports receiving a letter from his bank manager as follows. Dear Sir, we are seriously concerned by the state of 3 accounts. Yours, Mexico's and Poland's, in that order.
Alan Coren.
Well, I do apologise, Barry, to you and the listeners for going to the Irish Times so early in the series, but it's only in the Irish Times you would actually get this sort of story. Meanwhile, in Middleton, East Cork councillors who sought the appointment of a litter warden decided to defer a decision when they heard the county manager say that the problem was that the more efficient the warden, the cleaner the streets would be. The county manager said that the cleaner the streets, the fewer the litter fines, and the less the council will get in funds to pay the litter warden.
Well, personally, I blame Edward de Bono, but thank you all. Let me now reveal the final scores, and they are Hunter Davison, Russell Davison, Alan Coren, Sue Cook, this week's proud winner, with 12. Well done, Sue. Well done. And we leave you this week by awarding a copy of the News Quiz book to Miss Katie Ostler of Fakenham, who sent us this story from the Eastern Daily Press.
A man set fire to the offices of a Norwich marketing company because he thought his wife was having an affair with the managing director. He left home armed with a ladder and a can of petrol, but when he reached Norwich, he had to stop and ask someone for a box of matches. He also rang the fire brigade, but put the phone down when he remembered he hadn't started the blaze yet. Using the ladder, he climbed into the director's office and set it alight, but he was unable to make a getaway because he had left his car keys inside the blazing building.
We can't improve upon that until possibly next week. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, goodbye.
Taking part in the news quiz this week were Russell Davies, Hunter Davies, Sue Cook, and Alan Coren. The chairman was Barry Took, and the news was read by me, Peter Donaldson. The program was compiled by John Langdon, and the producer, Danny Greenstone.